Welcome to another session of solving problems with Elixir. In this video, we are going to talk about function signatures. Specifically, we're going to talk about three things. What is a function signature? Then we're going to talk about what benefits does a function signature provides. And then last, we are going to look at how do we write function signatures in Elixir. Right, with that, let's look at what exactly is a function signature. So a function signature is a line that precedes the function definition, and it provides us three pieces of information. It tells us what is the name of the function. Okay, it tells us the number and types of arguments that the function is going to take, and lastly it tells us the type of the return value. So with these three pieces of information, we are going to benefit in the following ways. First, it would allow us to write more thoughtful functions. So while designing a function, we would typically write the function signature first, and then we will follow that with the definition. What that allows us to do is some pieces of the function we have abstracted into the signature, and then our mind can focus on the function implementation, looking back at the signature and making sure that it is meeting those specs that we have written. The second benefit it provides us is helping us catch type related errors. So some errors would be related to type mismatches. For example, if a function does not take any argument and we provide it an argument, we'll have an error. But if a function is expecting a string argument and we provide it an integer or a number or a boolean value or any other type besides string, that would be an error. And these types of errors are typically easy to catch when we have the function signature, because there are tools like in Elixir we have dialyzer, which we will look at in a later video, and those tools can parse the signature and also our code and see if there are mismatches there. Third, it also helps us write clear tests. So when we start to write our tests, and we have not done it yet, but when we do, we will note that writing our tests becomes somewhat easier when the function signatures are defined. Why? Because we would know what kind of tests we should write. We would only be writing tests that takes the argument that are there in the signature, and similarly the expected output values should also match what we have defined in the signature. And finally, it also allows us to easily refactor our code. So at a later time, when we want to change our code, once we have the function signature, we could easily look at its return value type, and we would be restricted in changing our function only in ways that preserves that type, right? So with these benefits, and we know what a function signature, the information that it provides us, let's go back to Elixir and look at how do we define it. So as I mentioned, you define one line of information before the definition of the function, and in this case we are going to look at the first greet function, and we start the signature with @spec and then the name of the function. In our case it's greet, and then parentheses, and inside the parentheses we will write the type of the arguments that the function is going to take. In this particular example, it does not take any argument, so we leave it empty. Then we will follow it by double colons, and then followed by the type of the return value. In this particular example, it is returning a value of type string, so we'll write string dot t. So there we go. So now we have the signature of the greet function. Let's also add the signature for the second greet function in a similar fashion. So let's start with the spec followed by the name of the function, parentheses, and this one has one argument of type string. So we are gonna have a string inside parentheses, and then followed by 2 colons and the type of the return value, which in this case again is string. So there you have it. So now we have 2 functions which have their function signatures defined to us. So in this process we have actually done it in a way where we have defined our function first and then added the signature, and that was just to see the working pieces of the function first, because the signature doesn't do us any good if we just start with that. But now that we know these 2 pieces of information, you would typically start with function signature followed by writing the function definition. That's it for this session, and we'll see you in next one.